Offensive coordinator Buster Faulkner will go ahead and open right up for questions for Coach. Chad?
Just how impressed have you been with the way this offense has come of age this season and how they've performed?
Obviously it's been exciting, some of the things that we've done. You're still searching for more consistency out of us. And, the best thing about it is I do believe that we were able to find our identity. And we've got a lot of these guys, coming back for the future, which is exciting. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun to coach this group just overall, just from the way they bring it every single day. That part was consistent, right? All the way back from really when we got here. They're a very hungry group, eager to learn, and through all the ups and downs, they stayed even keel and realized it was a process, right? And they've taken everything we've asked them to do, and they've done it. They've given us everything they've had, and it's been a lot of fun to coach this group just from top to bottom.
Can you talk a little bit about Haynes and just the season and progression for a guy that played, I think, 4 or 5 games most in one season? He played every game, every snap pretty much of the season for you this year.
Right. Yeah, no, Haynes is he's a throwback, man. There's not a lot of guys like him left. He's tough. He's smart. He doesn't let things get to him, mentally or physically. This day and age, play the quarterback position, especially in college football, is not easy, right? With everything that you're asked to do and with all the pressure that comes with it. He hadn't batted an eye, and I think that's kind of been a reflection of really the way the offense has gone all year. Obviously, we knew he could run coming into the season, but for the guy to get through the season, you got to be kind of smart in the way you run him. And we ran him probably more down the stretch than we would have liked to, but he's got that ability to be able to score from anywhere on the field. And obviously, he can throw the ball, and we've got good receivers. And we got to continue to develop the game there, and we will as we move forward. But he's a lot of fun to coach, right? You ask any coach in that room over there, and they'll tell you the same thing. We're lucky to have him. We're glad he's our quarterback, and we're very fortunate we really got 2 of them, with him and Zach Pyron.
Just maybe elaborate on your relationship with him, like when it started and how it evolved over these past 10, 11, 12 months.
Yeah, anytime. Well, he's a coach's kid, right? So, and I've said this multiple times. He was raised the right way. He grew up in a locker room around a bunch of people with a bunch of different backgrounds, right? So he can relate to everybody. If he wants to coach, he's going to be a great coach. As far as relationship goes, he's one of those kids, the first time you meet him, you're like, all right, this guy's got a chance to be special, right? Just the way that he is, the way that he's wired, the way he carries himself. And, like I said, he's a throwback. And he's been a lot of fun to be around. You can get on him, right, and he can handle it. And he also, the thing I like about him is he ain't afraid to go back at you, right, because he's smart and he works at it. And he's fun. The players love him. The coaches love him. Obviously the relationships continue to get stronger and stronger. And when you get to a bowl, a lot of those things really start to come together, right? All the coaches' families and stuff are around, so the players get to see us in a different light as well. And I think we got a good thing going here, right? And we got to continue, obviously, through this week and into the off season, building around what we've got going, and it's really exciting to be here.
What stood out about Central Florida's defense?
Overall team speed, right? They're very fast. Do a good job of covering. Do a good job of getting after the quarterback. We got to know where number 3 and number 2 are up front. Their linebackers can run. Their corners can play man coverage, and I know they've had a couple opt-outs, but they've still got good players and well-coached team. We're excited to go play and the challenge that we have.
Talk a little bit about before the season. You talked about how you in the past had converted some guys, and you obviously did with Jamal, and he had a great year. And
right.
Just talk about that process of turning him into a running back and what you've seen from him this year.
Well, it was easy. We brought him in after spring ball, and we said, Jamal, you're going to running back. Right? And the best thing about it is Jamal, he wanted to do it. And really the first day I got here, the first time I met him, before we even made the move, I brought it up to him, say, hey, look, I remembered him in high school. Actually, it's funny, I remember him when he was in a little league because You know, he played in the same parks that I grew up playing in, and I'd always heard about him. He was a running back then, so he had done it. We felt like we needed to get more explosive and deeper at that in that room, and it was real simple. Literally the last day of spring ball after the game, we brought him in and said, "Hey, you're going to running back." He was in there the next day already trying to learn the plays. Right. One thing people don't realize about Jamal is that dude loves football more than anybody I've ever been around. I mean, he absolutely is ate up with the game of football, right? So he's got that. His football IQ is off the charts for a running back, receiver. He's kind of been the spark plug for us this year. Okay, we've obviously been able to use him in multiple ways, you know, in the backfield. And, you know, he's got a bunch of receptions. And like I said, he's been a spark plug. He's not a big guy, but he plays big. He breaks tackles. He's intense. We kind of feed off his emotions.
I will ask you a rare press conference question here. So there's a level of excitement and encouragement, I think, about the offensive line that Tech fans haven't felt in a while. How would you describe what the O-line has meant to the success of your offense this year, and why do you think they have meshed so well in your offense?
Well, I think the biggest thing, obviously, Coach Key did a great job of recruiting them, right? So that's where it started. A lot of them have been young in the past, right? And I think I may have said it when I first got here. Yeah, I watched a little bit of tape, but it didn't matter. I know those were the guys we had, and it's our job to make them better. But those guys have bought into what we're trying to do schematically. You know, it's not just about scheme, too. It's about the culture that you're trying to bring every day, and I think Coach Wade does an unbelievable job with that. Coach, I've worked with G, you know, before and had a pretty good idea of what he was going to bring to the table, and they've bought into it. They've gotten better and better and better, and I think once they started to believe in themselves and how good they could be, they kind of just took off, right? They're an extremely confident group, and like I said, you know, maybe they weren't as good in the past, but these guys hadn't all played together, and they're still young, all right? And they've been young. So to me, it started with the recruitment of them, and obviously developing them and continue to develop them. And but the biggest thing is they're now playing with that confidence that you want a group of offensive linemen to play with, right? And when you get that combination, then you've got a chance to be pretty good up front.
How excited were you when I think Weston sent out the post that they were all going to be coming back, at least those guys who still have eligibility?
Yeah, you know, I don't try not to get caught up in all the social media part of it.
When you found out that they'd all be coming back,
I think the biggest thing is, you know, we want to do what we have to do to keep those guys, right? Nowadays in college football, you got to recruit your own roster. You're not just recruiting everywhere else in the country. You're recruiting portal, you're recruiting high school, but you also got to make sure you're recruiting your own roster, right? And that's the most important thing, right? With us, we've got a great group of guys. We've got a good group of young guys, and we wanted to make sure we're keeping this group together. And you know, we made that clear with them, okay? And we appreciate their commitment to Georgia Tech and us as well. So I do believe that everything starts up front, and obviously with the quarterback, but that's where it starts. You got to be able to run block. You got to be able to run the football, and obviously you got to be able to protect the quarterback. So, you know, I'm a quarterback guy, but I love the O-line.
Over here, Coach.
And speaking of older guys on your roster, can you share more about Dante, your relationship with him, what he's gone through in the past 5 or so years, and what it would like to get a win on his last game?
Yeah, no, great question. You know, Dante, man, what a great kid, a tough kid. Obviously, he's been through a lot over his time here. You know, probably wasn't playing as much as he would like to early in the season, but here's a kid that could have easily tucked it, put it away, and said, you know, I'm moving on. And, you know, he was resilient, came to work every day. And obviously, you saw in the North Carolina game, he had a breakout game and really was phenomenal for us down the stretch. Can't say enough good things about him. The kid means a lot to this program. You know, and he's what college football is all about, right? He stayed here at Georgia Tech, right? Stayed with us even though he wasn't playing as much as he probably would have liked to early in the season. And, man, he was awesome down the stretch, right? And really gave us a lift that we needed to finish this thing out, and we want to send him out the right way.
You were very picky with choosing to come here out of jobs. You kind of, from my understanding, passed on some opportunities in the past before you came here to find the right situation. Has it been flattering to see your name floated around for jobs, and that there's big interest in you as an offensive coordinator based on just the performance this year at Georgia?
Well, I think that means we're doing something right. Obviously, I try not to get caught up in all those things because they're going to talk about you when it's good and they're going to talk about you when it's bad. So I try to stay even keel with it and don't pay much attention to that. Worry about the things that I can control and the things that matter to me the most. And the things that matter to me the most is Georgia Tech, us going out and playing this bowl game and trying to find a way to win it. And then moving forward, I think, like I said, we've got a great thing going. Coach Key's done a phenomenal job. I'm excited to be here. None of that's changed. I love the state of Georgia. All right, my kids are happy. My wife's happy, so I'm happy.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks, Buster.